Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. I hope you're getting ready. I was reading the news this morning about Melbourne, Australia, Oz. And I know we have some Aussies here. I would love for you to weigh in, starting with I'm from Oz, or I'm an Aussie, or whatever. I'm an Australian mate. Um, First reports are seldom true, complete, but it appears that uh, the Australians government in Melbourne, at least, city, uh, is doing some pretty draconian stuff vis-a-vis COVID. I guess they're going into a really hardcore lockdown. Only one person can leave the house at a time to like go shopping or something. Um, you can only go 3 miles from your house. You can only exercise outside for 1 hour a day. They're limiting items you can buy to two of things like meat and other things, toilet paper. Um, you have to sleep for the next 6 weeks where you slept last night, whatever that means. And the police, according to the article I read, I'd really like some Aussies to weigh in on it. The police can enter your home without a warrant to spot check. Spot check what? Is that true? I mean, Australia is considered a modern Western state with liberty and things like that, except y'all can't have guns. Not really, can you? That's why they get to walk in your house at will. That wouldn't work here. Bad consequences. No one can leave Melbourne. You can't leave. No one can come in without a good reason, meaning government pass your papers. Let me see your papers. And I said a couple weeks ago, and I've been telling the Shofarians, get ready for lockdown 2. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be harder. Uh, and yeah, I'm anticipating travel restrictions on top of everything else. It's coming, people. It's coming. I've been telling you forever. And picture this. Picture a lockdown similar to what I just described in Melbourne, whether it's completely true or not. Because, like I said, first reports, right? Picture a lockdown where they say you can't leave the city. Well, when they say you can't leave or come into the city, what does that mean? That means there are roadblocks all the way around the city. Then picture people getting angry. Then picture riots, and you can't leave. COVID. Yeah. Come out of her, my people. Should have already done it. Um, Picture new rules, new allowances for the government to do things because it's an emergency. The solution to all of this stuff is to be away from the population centers. And when I do things like this on YouTube, I get, Pastor Joe, everybody can't move out like you can. Yeah, everybody absolutely can. Uh, there are houses for rent within fairly easy driving distance of where I stand for $600 a month. There's cheaper houses than that in other parts of the Ozarks. And I'm not just talking Ozarks. I mean, just move out to a rural area where there aren't a lot of people. Get away from what's coming. Whether it's real COVID or overreaction to fake COVID, whether it's, BLM protest or boogaloo 3%er Proud Boys protest. I mean, do you want to be around the violence? Do you? If you do, awesome. Stay in the city. Arm up. But if you're like me and you just want to live your life with your peeps, you need to get away from all the madness. You should be well stocked. You should be super well stocked right now. You should make Y2K preparations look like Cub Scouts. Because lockdowns happen, you can't buy anything else. Because people panic and buy the last of what's available. And then the economy crashes. Oh, I get this a lot too. What do you think could happen, Pastor Joe? Well, what do you think could happen? There's a lot of people saying the economy could crash. I'm saying this COVID thing could get out of control, one way or another, or both ways. We have an election coming up that is just going to be a S show, a mess. Biden, honestly, I've said this before, but I was just telling my daughter the other day, who's a liberal bent person, whom I love very much. I don't think his brain is all there. I really don't. I'm not just saying that because I'm generally a conservative. I really don't think he is. I mean, as a matter of fact, the example I used is, why are they going with Biden? Why not Newsom? You know, the governor of California, he runs a small country. Actually, it's probably a medium-sized country when you consider, you know, the economics and the military that's there and all that. Why not Cuomo, you know? I mean, I don't like either one of those guys, but I wouldn't say that their brain is fried. What's going on there? That's going to be messy because they're pushing hard, no debate. He can't carry his own in a debate. They're going to try and steal the election through ballots, and that's just like, what? Are you not an American? Why would you want to steal any election in any way? But it's lost, gang. It's lost. So that's coming. And then reaction, no matter who wins, no matter how that goes, it's going to be ugly. And then the government reaction to the reaction is going to be ugly. That's coming. Potential war with people. Iran is on the TikTok, man. That's coming. And then what happens from that? If you've been following what Turkey's doing in Libya and Egypt and what's going on with Russia and Belarus right now, and TikTok. You guys need to get some of you are doing great. Some of you are doing awesome. Some of you, I don't know what you're doing. You better get ready. You better get ready to be on your own. On your own with your people, hopefully. We are. I'm not showing you what we're doing, but we are. Start thinking about getting next year's seeds. This year's seeds, they'll be okay next year. But if you can, when the time comes and this next year's seeds go up for sale towards the end of the season, buy them. You have been gardening, right? I've been telling you to do that forever too. If you don't have a garden and you've been watching me for more than 3 months, shame on you. Shame on you. And you're going to reap what you didn't sow. I'm not telling you to garden because I'm some, earth hippie kind of person. I'm telling you to garden because it takes time to learn how to garden in your soil, in your climate, in your conditions. And it's going to come down to the point where you're going to need a victory garden. And I care about you and I want you to eat. And a little bit of that is selfish of me. I want you to have a garden and I want you to be able to eat because hungry people become a potential threat. And I'm trying to lessen the threats out there. I have chickens. I have ducks. I have goats. And we have an abundance for now of deer. in this area. And I'm concerned about protein. What about you? Do you have all that? No. If you don't have all that, are you concerned about protein? Unfortunately, many of you are like, no. My wife just canned, I think 7 quarts. I think it's a 7-quart canner, All American or something, of chicken yesterday. And she's going to can more. Do you know how to can meat? Why not? Why not? Try and buy a canner right now. We have a Shofarian who's found a source for canners. I think she's paying like $89 for pressure canners, which is a good price. She's got a good source, and she's selling them on eBay. They're going for $300. Yeah, try and buy a refrigerator or a freezer right now. It's very difficult. Try and buy ammo or a gun right now. It's very difficult. So these things give me hope in one way that Americans are waking up, and a little bit late, and so they're buying the available things that are out there based on, because if I make canners, pressure canners, and sell them, my factory makes pressure canners, I kind of figure out how many I can sell a year. And so that's what my production is. Well, if more people wake up and go, man, we need a pressure canner, demand spikes. And our factory's making this many, but there's this many that are wanted. So yeah, it's getting harder to do the things I've been telling y'all to do for years. And if you've waited till now, it's not going to get any easier. How about that? People say to me on YouTube, I get more flack on YouTube. I take less of it here. Well, if everybody, because I tell people to move to the rural areas, I'm unabashed about that. Move to the rural area. And I get people saying, well, if everybody moved to the rural area, then it wouldn't be rural. Well, yeah, I know. But everybody's clearly not going to move to the rural areas. Having said that, should have listened to people like me when we said that a couple years ago, because rural property in this country is starting to significantly increase in price. Why? Same thing as pressure canners, same thing as ammo, same thing as guns. People see the writing on the wall and they're taking action. If they'd taken the action earlier, they could have got more for less of whatever. But they're still taking action, while some people are sitting around going, I wonder if I should really move to the country. Maybe Pastor Joe was right. Meanwhile, the prices are doing this and the availability is doing this. But you can still do it. You can still make the moves. It's just going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. You should be stacking food to the rafters. Have you done that yet? Buy food you normally eat. Now, if you're like us, you're going to have to make some compromises. We eat mostly fresh meat, meaning, we buy it in the refrigerator section of the grocery store on styrofoam with plastic over it. I'm not trying to be like the cool homesteader guy. I only eat meat I grow or shoot. I wish. Actually, that's not true either. But we eat fresh meat and fresh veg. We shop the margins of the grocery store for the most part. Some pasta, stuff like that. Well, that doesn't lend itself well to storing, does it? In a way, like my wife canned chicken yesterday, it does. Now we have all these 7 jars of chicken canned. What is that over there? I thought I was looking at a deer like really close eating a tree. I think it's my goat. I didn't know my wife had tied a goat up over there. Interesting. When we're done, I'll walk over there. If there's nothing there, it was a deer. Sorry. Oh, look at the squirrel. I think it's a goat. It is. All right. Protein on the hoof. At Shofar Mountain. I was using that voice so much the other day it drove my wife crazy because I can be silly. And I was saying something like in this case, Pastor Joe notices something moving in the wood line. It might be a deer or it could be the goats. Like that guy talks on, what is that, Doomsday Prepper? All right, I know some of you weren't amused. Hey, this is just my cry to you based on the news article I saw today on Melbourne. Uh, and put it in high gear, people. Put it in high gear. Get ready. Oh, and let me finish the thought. Buy food you normally eat. Because that way, if, praise the Father, nothing happens, which is a distinct possibility, you're not sitting on a bunch of stuff you don't normally eat that you spent money for that will eventually go bad, even if it's Mountain House 25-year shelf life food, right? Buy food you normally eat to the best that you can. Um, and that's where I was going with what me and my wife eat. We make some compromises for our storage food because, hey, we don't eat a lot of canned green beans or a lot of canned corn. But I have some. Oh, yes, I do. So there you go. If you needed another impetus to start doing the things, do the things. And if you needed another impetus, my philosophy uh, is kind of like my wife saying, don't start no stuff, won't be no stuff. Uh, why get uselessly involved, needlessly involved in conflict? If you can avoid it, avoid it. I was just watching Tiborosaurus Rex. I think that's his name. I've just picked up on watching him lately. And I guess he was quoting the Karate Kid, which I haven't seen that movie forever. I never got super into it. I mean, I know wax on, wax off, but he was quoting that movie, I think, and he was saying something in a really bad Japanese accent. The best way to avoid the punch is don't be there, right? Whoop. Y'all remember that movie Remo Williams? Whoop. Whoop. That's an old one. There's a punch coming. There might be a punch, a kick, and an elbow coming. Best way to avoid it, best way to counter it, don't be there. Don't be there. Move out. If you have everything you need at home, you don't need to go out into the chaos, into the zombies. All right. Do the things. I wish you well. Maybe I will see you out there.